Okay, so at this point we're ready to start our juicer. So just to remind you, this is the juicer we're doing. I have images of these I'll leave at each table. We're gonna make a bowl for it, and then the different other parts of it that we've talked about. We're gonna start with the bowl today though. So that's gonna be our goal for today. First, we're gonna get a bag, and you're gonna kind of inspect your bag because these bags have been used a few times. So inspect it for any holes that are there because we're gonna be using this for the duration of the project. And then where the tape is, chances are there's tape with other people's names on it from the past. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some tape, some new tape. So I'll put some rolls at your table. And you're gonna put tape over it. If there's another name on it, you can put tape over it there too, just so it's real clear that it's not theirs, this is yours. And then on the tape, you're gonna write your name and class code. So, writing my name and class code here, Ms. Kelly, and then let's just say I'm, D12. Okay, so that's there. Then so we'll put this over to the side. We're gonna need that towards the end of today's class. And we're gonna just get a realistic amount of this done today. So from the clay table, you're going to need one of these mats, and I'll make a list of these on the board or somewhere where you can read it. You're gonna need a few different kinds of tools. You'll need a pin tool. Now, I don't have enough pin tools for everybody. Maybe by the time you're seeing this video I do, but so you're gonna have to bring over some toothpicks too. And then smoother tool, and again, I don't have enough of these for everybody, so you guys can get popsicle sticks too. Those are your two major tools for today, but then there's some other tools that we may use. One slab, like this here, okay? And that's gonna go down onto the mat here. You're also gonna get some extra clay and a tracer. One more thing you'll need is one of these cardboard things for your table. This is gonna kind of show us, we're gonna be using coil construction today, and this is gonna show us how we wanna build this out from the base. So just keep this at your table. Again, you'll all share it together at your table. So we don't really wanna do this right in the middle because we might be able to use that slab for something else. So we'll come this over to the corner with this and use our pin tool or our needle tool to kind of cut into here, and we want to go along this circle carefully. And the reason that the tracer is the size that it is because we want to be able to fit a grapefruit here, and I used a grapefruit to kind of plan out the size of this tracer. So I'm going to move that clay slab off to the side here. We're going to take our tracer and we can put it off to the side or back at the table. And we're gonna start to build our coils. So I'm gonna use some clay from here, some extra clay, and I'm gonna roll a coil. And so to roll a coil, you can start with a bit of clay and kind of roll it out like this here. And then, you wanna use a little bit of water, so you'll have a little thing of water at your area too, and you can kind of just lay a little bit onto the edge of the base here, and we're gonna start to build these coils out. We don't necessarily need to score and slip every single one of them. Some water where this is gonna go, you can overlap a little and start to get it towards the edge of that circle there. So we're gonna start to build this out. You can take it off of the extra bit from your slab too. So bring this here, kind of bring this up and out a little. Again, taking some off my slab, chances are try to get your coils to sort of go over seams. So you don't have all seams lining up together. You can see there's a seam here, and then this next coil goes over the seam. So try not to have your seams line up. It's gonna make the structure a little stronger. And so we'll build up for a little while here, and then we'll check our sizing and we'll smooth. So try this guy out. So I'm gonna kind of bring this into here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of press these coils out a bit here. So they're coming towards this end, and you can kind of move this around and do this around here because you want it to come into this space. And then within here, so as we do this, kind of press it out a little. As we do this, you can kind of come in here and cradle it with your hand a bit and smooth into here. You may want to use this tool or your popsicle stick to get it smooth on the inside. So kind of pressing out into your hand, mirroring that shape that's on the cardboard cutout with your hand, and turning this around and just getting it to be kind of strong on the inside for now. Bringing that all around. You'll smooth it as you go, but just starting to get it to be like a stronger structure. And you really don't want to have any places that have holes. So if you have little places with holes, you could take a little bit of clay, just a little bit, and kind of smear it into there. And you could do that anyway in some places. Just use a little bit at a time though. Also on the outside here, you're eventually going to want to smooth this too. So kind of getting that nice and smooth. You can use your tool to come upward or your fingers. And kind of pinching it between your hands to kind of keep it together too, so it doesn't start to bow out too much. Our structure for this shape does bow out a little, and that can be a challenge when we go to put this away too. So we're gonna just need to be mindful of that. Clay has memory, so we'll store this so that it's straight up and down, so that it remembers like to hold its shape this way. It's easier to roll your coils on the table off of the blanket actually. The piece of fabric. So my surface looks a little funny because I'm doing this in my at-home studio, not at school. So I have a glass surface here. You guys will have the tabletop surface there. These coils can be heavy on top of each other, so stop often and support with your hand. That support with your hand is huge. You really need to support with your hand and then come around. If you don't support with your hand, it will fall apart. So it's important to really consider supporting with your hand. To be perfect yet. Later, when it's a little bit more, a little less wet. Right now the clay is kind of wet, which is helping us mold it, but you know, when it's a little less wet, we'll be able to do some finishing work on the outside a little more. We don't want to, you know, end up pushing our finger through it by smoothing it. So I'm just sort of getting them smeared together right now. Some places that are a little too heavy. I'm trying to make my coils a little thinner now. And then I'm gonna go right over here and go towards this coil because I don't like this seam. I feel like it's a little weak there. And then that'll come. And this potentially can be a pretty fragile bowl right now. So we're gonna be real cautious with how we store it. I actually think it's bowing out a bit here, and I'm a little worried about storing it like that. So if yours gets a little bowed out like that, mine's probably okay, but I'm gonna show you this anyway because some of yours might get this way as you start to build it. If you notice it's bowing out a lot, meaning like sort of coming out like this a lot, it could potentially collapse. So one thing that you can do, you can use one of these knife tools or even a toothpick or a needle tool to cut out. I'm actually going to use the needle tool. Find like your shortest and maybe weakest area, and then from there, I'm going to do mine like right here. You can cut out a pizza wedge. So I can cut out a pizza wedge like this, not too thick, but like a little mini piece of pizza. I don't know if you can see that there. And then you've got this pizza shaped hole here. And what you can do with that is you can lift this and kind of bring it together. It's gonna be a little bit weak there, so we're gonna need to do a little work to get it together, but that way you can kind of bring this around and bring this together a little more and kind of smooth that in there. And then this inside's pretty weak right now, so I'm gonna use, again, some smears of clay over that seam to really make sure it's together as one. And then we're actually gonna do the same thing with the outside. So if this happens to yours at any point, if it starts to get bowed out, you can take that piece of pizza off of it and kind of get it back together. I have a pretty persistent hole here from doing that, so I'm gonna try to get some more clay into there, which I think I did a pretty good job of. I'm gonna turn this around again with this fabric moving. Grr. Super annoying. Just try to keep it kind of steady. Then I've got this seam here from that, so I'm gonna work to smooth that together. I can use my tools for this. You can even use these tools. These are nice tools for kind of smoothing that a bit. And I like how this is coming together here now. I think it's a little taller, a little sturdier. So I may actually do it on the other side too. Okay, it's a little shorter than I originally intended. Let me see if I can turn this to you so you can see it. It's a little shorter here than I originally intended. So you can see there's like some space. Let me see if I can get my hands here. Some space at the top. I'm okay with it though, because I don't think I want to go too much bigger than this. And like I said, if I were to take another pizza wedge out of this, it would get a little taller anyway. So I might do that next time. But at this point, it's time to store it. And here's how we're gonna store it. We have that bag that has our initial, or I mean our name and class code on it. Make sure your bag, you have your correct bag. Again, you've inspected for holes. And now at this point, you're gonna carefully place this in the bag. So you're gonna lift this bag open, okay? And we're actually gonna bring our hand underneath the bottom of our pot, and we're gonna slide the pot in, okay? And you're gonna actually leave the bag open. I'm gonna seal them for you before I go today. But when you carry this over to the counter where I show you to store it, carry it with your hand underneath it flat so that the top of it is parallel to the table, or parallel to the ceiling too. Okay, so you can see my hands are, well, you can't really see, but my hands are right under it, okay? And I don't want to turn it over because it'll sort of move.